Support for the Couples Council comes from Mercier Wellness and Consulting. Their purpose is to equip you with the right skills for a happy and healthy relationship. Services available in office or virtual. Schedule your consultations now. For more information, visit mercierwellness.com. Mercier Wellness and Consulting. Small steps, big changes.
This podcast is not a substitute for therapy. Please consult a licensed professional for your mental health needs. Now on with the show.
Hello and welcome to the Couples Council. I'm your host, Dr. Jameson Mercier, sitting alongside my wife, Herdyne Mercier.
Hello, everyone. I'm back.
What do you mean? Oh yeah, that's right. You've been out for a little bit.
Yes, you did a great job, babe. I really enjoyed this series of your Dadfident discussions. You started off with Matthew Jean, and then we went on and did a 2-part series with Mr. Tracy Martin.
Yeah. If you guys are catching this episode for the first time, go back 3 episodes and check out this series from the very beginning.
Yeah. And those who are new to the Couples Council podcast, we want to welcome you.
Yeah, for sure. Thank you to the people who are now discovering us, and a special shout out to our OG listeners. That's what Patrice calls them. Thank you guys who've been with us from episode 00.
Yep.
Yeah, almost 30 some odd episodes ago. Thank you guys for listening. Well, today, this episode wraps up 2 things. Our Dadfident Series, and for real, season 1.
Yes.
For real, like for real. Okay. We have no choice, but we have to wrap it up.
And as a matter of fact, by the time you are listening to this Wednesday morning, we will be in Canada.
Yeah. We'll be in Canada, in the skies, somewhere.
No, we'll be in Canada.
We'll be there already? Okay. Yeah, we'll be north. We'll be across the border in a whole other country.
Yes. And another thing we can add before we get into today's discussion is our journey. We believe that it is time that we take a break. We believe that it's time that we invest in our people pillar, training from my personal coach, Patrice Washington. And so we will be on vacation, touring and having fun. And it's just not us. This is our 2nd year where we'll be doing a road trip. But this road trip, because I could not drive out of Florida, y'all. Driving out of Florida is no joke. And so we'll actually be flying into Maryland and driving to Canada.
Yeah, that's just part of it. We're going to go into Canada, hang out for a little bit, come back down through the Great Lakes. We have some more camping to do. But by the way, if you want to catch some of our highlights from our camping.
Yes.
Yeah, and I think you'd like it. You want to check out our other passion project, Creole Adventures, on Instagram as well as YouTube. So that's yet another project that we're picking up. But that one's fun.
That's so much fun.
That's fun.
Take a time out. Go and find Creole Adventures on Instagram. And if you're not on Instagram, do YouTube. We will be sharing some stuff there, but you'll get behind the scenes from Instagram. It's worth creating an Instagram account, I would say.
Just for Creole Adventures. Follow no one else. Just us. Yeah, so we'll be doing that and just kind of recharging and rebuilding because, guys, listen, we need it. You need it. Everybody needs to take a break, sometimes from each other, sometimes with each other. Okay, and so that's what we'll be doing, and we hope to drop in periodically, but for sure we'll be back in the fall with season 2.
Yeah, with season 2. And in the meantime, we'll probably, for those of you who are just meeting us, you'll get to know us in depth a little bit more because we'll be doing some rewinds throughout the summer. What is that about?
I was just taking a drink.
Well, with that being said, honey, I said it before and I'm going to say it again. What a powerhouse month it has been in honoring fathers. Chapeau bas. You know, I bow down and say, what an amazing job. I enjoyed every interview. I learned so much. And for you, and I know how important it is for you to be a powerful house. You're not trying to be a perfect dad.
No, far from it.
Yeah, and your goal is to be a present dad.
Yep.
Not perfect, but present in our children's lives and the people that we've adopted as our own. I would want to say, for you, in talking to Matthew and talking to Tracy Martin, what has been some of the ahas or takeaways or your stretching and listening to these two powerhouse men?
Well, you know, from the beginning, with Matthew's interview, he mentioned that at the time that he became a father, he and his wife were separated.
The second time around.
Yes. So the second time around, when he found out that his wife was having multiples,
he prayed.
They were separated. And, you know, in that interview, I don't know if you can tell or not, but I'm sitting here just like blowing, like my mind is blown to think that here you are going down one road, thinking you're heading down one road, and then you get this kind of bombshell news, and it totally causes you to do a 180.
Not only 180, it makes you say, this marriage is worth fighting for.
Yeah.
I want to be present for my kids. And now we know them personally. And now to see them and see how happy they are and see the kids, I always enjoy watching any pictures with them on social media.
Oh, yeah. They're a beautiful
or seeing,
family.
Yeah, they're an amazing family. And it just proves that time and time again, when you're willing to do the work, when you're willing to invest, when you're willing to seek counsel, you can see a shift in your marriage. You can see a shift in your ideas of how you're going to heal, move forward. And from there, nothing but greatness.
Yeah, he was prepared to be a dad living apart from his kids. And when he heard that, for whatever reason, it clicked that he had to work on the marriage in order to be there, not just for the kids, but for his wife also. And you can go back and listen to the interview, but he really just laid it all out there about what he and his wife and the family went through in that season.
And I will say this, one of the things that we promise on the couples council is when people share their story and their truth, I always stay prayed up about it, because I would hate for someone to take someone's story and their truth and turn it into gossip. Because in him sharing their story and their truth, their journey, so many people go, oh my God, I can relate. Even if it's that 15 seconds of something he said, I can relate to him. And he has shifted my thinking to say, I am willing to work harder to be in this relationship.
Yeah. So that was Matthew. And I always enjoy hanging and talking with Matthew. The other thing that really caused me to sit was just that whole conversation with Tracy Martin. You know,
and for those who have not listened to the episode yet, Jameson did a 2-part series with Mr. Tracy Martin. He is the father of Trayvon Martin, and not just the father of Trayvon Martin, but he has, I want to say, 7 children. And we got to hear about them.
Yeah, Trayvon is not his only kid, and you know, call it fortunate or unfortunate, that's all people know. Him and his other son, who's usually in the pictures with him, I believe is Javaris. But he is a father to other children. And he by no means claims to have been a perfect dad, a perfect man, but he tells his story. He didn't choose to be in the spotlight. He was thrust in the spotlight, but he tells his story.
And you know what I took from Tracy? I took from Tracy in him saying, you know what? I messed up as a young father.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he was a father in high school. And as a young father and not having the connection that he wanted with his first son, he decided, I'm going to change it around. So much so, he said in the interview that that Trayvon was always next. His kids went everywhere he went.
Yeah, he was that kind of father.
But
Still is.
media would make it seem like he wasn't.
Yeah.
And so for me, it's like, it's never too late to heal. It is never too late to say, you know what, I messed up, but I am going to do better.
Yeah, and speaking of healing,
I just love seeing the evolution of people.
Yeah, and speaking of healing, he talks candidly about the grief as a father and losing his son, and how, he said, the more I talk about it, the better I'm able to move on, is what he said. And he acknowledged mental health and how it helps his kids. Ultimately the biggest thing with Tracy, he is someone who's easily 20 years older than me. And I'm just reminded when I sit and talk to these OGs, right? I mean, people who've been down the road, there's just so much you can glean from them. There is just so much wisdom, right? I'm not talking knowledge, I'm talking wisdom, because knowledge you can acquire just by reading a book, reading an article, but wisdom takes time. You have to live to have wisdom. And so I'm just honored that he sat and he talked to us and dropped some of his wisdom with us and our listeners.
Powerhouse month, and I enjoyed it. I really did. The other thing I want to add, since we're talking about Tracy, is in August we will be doing, or I should say you will be, and I'll be at the event as well. For those of you who are in South Florida or willing to travel to South Florida for this event, they are doing a defining fatherhood weekend. You definitely want to check that out.
Yeah,
it's free.
Yeah, that's part of their annual convention or conference that they do as part of the Circle of Fathers, the organization that he runs. If you are available, that is something you definitely want to check out.
Not just you don't have to be a father. You can be an uncle. You can be, obviously a stepdad, or, the different male roles can also show up.
Brother, uncle, grandpa,
godfather.
Yeah. And, that's the other thing too. You can, I guess I was thinking about this throughout the whole month. You can be a parent without having kids of your own.
Yeah.
And you can parent other people's kids. Sometimes other people's kids need you to parent them.
Yep.
And, we don't always accept that when it's given to us. But when presented the opportunity, if you're able, I would really encourage you to consider, because you can have a tremendous impact on the lives of some kids and the community, really. So that
I always say it's two things. They need you to be present and not perfect. And the other thing is they need to be seen. Everyone, not just children. Everyone needs to be seen and heard. Because their voice matters. And so that's the other thing. When you think about your voice, honey, as a father, not a husband, not a clinician, not all the other hats, not a doctor, PhD, none of those things, all those, but as a father, when you think of your voice, what is that voice for you?
When I think of my voice,
yes,
What is that voice for me? How do you mean?
Like, everybody has that mission. Like, for me, my voice is for wives and loving themselves. Okay, with the Wifident brand. You have the Manfident brand and you have the Dadfident brand. What is the voice, or what is the mission for you and Dadfident?
You know, this is something I did not become aware of this until I became a dad myself. And I learned in becoming a dad that dads are misunderstood. I even want to go as far as to say men are misunderstood. But once I do that, then there becomes this, well, not more than moms or women. And so I'm not doing a comparison here. I'm just merely sharing what I've learned in my walk as a man and father, right? And specifically as a father. Before I became a father, I used to judge other fathers, you know, and maybe you used to do it too.
We're doing it now.
Or maybe you're doing it now, but I now, as a dad, when I see another father, I just want to like give them a hug. I do. I really want to give them a hug because I firmly believe that they are perhaps some of the most misunderstood people around. There's so much pressure that's felt by dads, and again, this is my own perspective, because in being a dad, there's also the pressures of being a man, and whatever ways you define it, there is a standard or expectation. Then becoming a dad doubles, triples, quadruples, it multiplies those expectations. Because now not only are you being looked at by society as a man, but you are also being looked at by your mother, the mother of your kids, your wife, and the kids themselves. And society is also now judging you on that. And there are some fathers, for whatever reason, are not able to meet those standards. And those guys get a terrible rep. They get a bad rep.
And then, just like you've shared this publicly several times, that the journey of becoming a father for you, you had a lot of fear. So much so you didn't think you wanted to become a father.
Oh, yeah.
Because of the unknown of, can I really care? Can I really love? What does it mean? And so what advice would you tell fathers listening now? Fathers to be, or fathers currently?
Well,
what advice would you give them?
I'll even go back just a little bit before I answer that question. As a father now, right, I understand why some fathers leave their family. I may not agree with it. I do not agree with it, but I understand. And
you say understanding why they check out.
I understand why they check out. I understand, because when you sit with a father or a man and he's telling you he's done everything he can, everything he knows to do, and still is unable to provide, and still doesn't know how to meet his wife's expectations, the kids' expectations, everybody else's expectations, I can understand why some people feel like that is too much pressure and they check out. Now, to answer your question, what advice would I give to fathers and men in these situations? It's not about meeting those standards and expectations. Because like we said a moment ago, the dad who is present is doing just fine, right? You don't have to be perfect. You don't have to be bringing in a ton of money. You don't have to have a job that is whatever. You don't have, you just have to show up. And if more fathers understood that.
It's not just showing up, babe. I think it is showing up, being consistent, and understanding the power of your words as a father.
Yeah, and so showing up, I agree. But it starts with showing up.
Mm-hmm.
You can't be consistent if you don't show up.
Yeah, that's true.
And to your point, babe, there are a lot of fathers who really do not understand the weight that their words carry.
Mm-hmm.
They are oblivious to it. And I mean, I'll even admit every now and then you'll say to me, hey, babe, you really might want to check what you just said, because I know how you said it, but Jason or the girls or Elton, they may not have heard it that way.
Mm-hmm. And you're like, but I'm just joking. But to them, that seed could have been planted so totally different.
Right.
And so the power of your words, I cannot begin to say, can be the gateway to, it is, not can be. It is the gateway of how your daughters see relationships, how your sons honor their wives. And that is very, 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 very important.
Yeah. And one of the things that came up in the conversation with Tracy Martin is that it is hard to direct and instruct your kids if you're not around.
Mm-hmm.
This is impossible to be there to straighten them out, to, point them in a different direction if you just are not around. And trying to do that after the fact, it just doesn't work. Does not work. And he talks, and he says that from experience.
Yeah, that's true. I think one of our models, I know one of our models is small steps, big changes.
Mm-hmm.
And so I truly believe if you continue to take the small steps, you will begin to see the changes that you want to see for the life that you dream you want to have with your children.
Yeah, and that is really all it is, Some days I would like to do a whole lot more for my family.
Mm-hmm.
And some days I'm able to do more. And other days I can't do a damn thing because I'm just either busy or I'm short on time, cash, or time and cash.
Mm-hmm.
A birthday this year may be at Disney, and next year it may be in the backyard.
Mm-hmm.
But let's not judge those, because it's about being there for those birthdays.
And the pressure of social media sometimes as a father can be so great. It's like, I can't afford a birthday party this year. And what the best I can do is bring a cake.
Mm-hmm.
The best I can do is bring a toy and hang out. But you know what? That at the end of the day, I strongly believe that is what the child wants. It's your presence.
Oh, they want your time.
And do you see them? Do you hear them?
The other day we were trying to have a conversation, and Jason just jumped in the middle. Jason's our youngest.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if you recognize this, but he just jumped in the middle and he started dancing. And he's dancing and he's singing, and we're ignoring him, trying to have a conversation.
Mm-hmm.
And he's getting louder, and I'm just like, hold on, babe. I look at Jason. I said, my son, I see you.
Yes, you did.
I said, come here. Let me hug you. Let me kiss you. Let me touch you. And he came to me and he stood there and he let me touch him and let me kiss him. And at the end of that, mm-hmm. I said, now, how do you feel? He says, I feel fine, Daddy. I'm going to go play now.
He just wanted to know, do you see me? Can you pat me on the back?
And he
my singing is so amazing. And as you were patting him on the back, it was just like, yep, that's my daddy. And
he just, after that, he turned around and walked away. And I'm just like, damn, these kids. I'm like, wow. And now I had enough insight to recognize what was happening.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's just, when you see your kids doing that, jumping in between, disrupting you, recognize that they need something from you, like we're saying. And it probably is just a little bit of time, a little bit of attention. And that is all they need. That really is all your kids are asking you for.
And their voices matter. For example, the outfit that he picked out for us to take our flight out is his dad's shirt. My dad is my superhero.
Oh.
That's how he views you. He could have picked out any outfit, but he was adamant about wearing my dad is my superhero. And knowing that he views you as his superhero, and the girls are like, daddy knows everything, and they challenge you and and they have fun with you. And knowing that, and we had an episode at a graduation not too long ago.
Oh, they already know.
Oh, yes, you did share.
They already know. Oh, I'm a big crybaby.
Yes, so
especially when it comes to my kids.
Yes, I say to Jay, I'm like, babe, do you know Azriel will be graduating high school in 8 years? And by the time I can finish the sentence, he's just like that. And I am like, what is going on here?
Oh, yeah. That was a mess. And some of you listening who shall remain nameless have seen the video. But that's okay.
Yeah.
I'm one of those dads.
Yeah. And he is bawling. 15 minutes later, he's still crying, like uncontrollable crying. And it's like, that's why, honey, it is so important that we cherish the time that we have with our kids. And so that is why we practice what we preach, and saying we take time out for our family. And the whole reason we created Creole Adventures is to show you that it's important that you stop. You may not be able to do 4 weeks or 3 weeks or 2 weeks. It could be a weekend. It could be a day. But just take the time out to have family bonding time.
Yeah, we're the plan is to share some of our adventures. And like we say in the channel, some of them are with the kids. Some of them might be with Herdyne. Some of them might be with the girls. Some of them might just be with the boys.
Some of them might be us.
Some of them might be me solo. Right? Like, you have to prioritize that. And as dads, you got to prioritize time with everybody. Okay. I've learned that over the years. Everyone needs a little bit of time, and it can be quite demanding, but people learn. And
we should close out with this. One advice that we've practiced in our family is everybody deserves to feel like the only child. And so whether it will be me or Jay, they will have a day with us. And they get to pick where they want to go.
Yeah. It may not be a day, maybe a few hours.
I took the girls to a play date, and Jason stayed home with Daddy, and they had their own adventure where they went fishing and vice versa. And I'll go to a game arcade with Jason, and Jay will have the girls, or just have one girl. And the truth of the matter is, it's the mixture of things to make this family work. But we are on a mission to make sure that our kids never forget their childhood, and that it's positive, it's loving, and it's one that they want to mirror. And so I would close out with saying, honey, I am so honored that I did the work of making sure I interviewed you when we were dating and checking you out, so that they can too have this amazing dad who was present, not perfect, but love the hell out of them.
Yeah. Listen, I grew up, again, it's no secret, I grew up without my dad. He died when I was 9. And even before that, from the age, I'll say till I was a baby, they say I was 2, but I don't have any memories of my dad until I'm about 7 years old. So I am keenly aware of the impacts of your dad not being around. So any chance I get to love on my kids and even other people's kids, right? To just acknowledge them and tell them, hey, you're doing good. You're doing a great thing. Keep up the good work. Any chance I get, whether you have a father in the home or not, I do that. Okay. And I don't know that I would do anything any different. So that's my mission. That's also my, I guess, challenge, my call to action for some of the dads listening. And if you're not a dad, if you're the mother or the sister, encourage a dad. Hug a dad.
Mm-hmm.
Because
appreciate, say thank you, leave a note.
Because they're trying. And I'll tell you, it don't always look like we trying. We are. And it may be like, really, he ain't doing crap, but he's trying. Okay. So that's where we're going to leave it.
Before we sign out, make sure you subscribe. Make sure you share.
Leave a review.
Leave a review. That's how people find out about the Couples Council. If you want to, I just want to know how you heard about the Couples Council. You can go in my DM and just tell me, introduce yourselves. Tell me who you are. Tell me where you're from. And how did you hear about the Couples Council?
Yeah, we're very curious. I mean, we have people in New Zealand, people all over the globe, Dubai. I mean,
everywhere.
Let us know. Let us know how it is you came across us.
And by going in my DM, you can go into my DM at The Wife Mentor.
Correct.
Just tag me. Hey, I heard about you all. This is who I am, and something you love about our podcast.
Yep. And you can do the same at Dr. Jameson Mercier on Instagram, as well as Facebook. And again, you can always shoot us an email at mercierwellness.com.
Or check out our website, Mercier Wellness. Wait.
That's what I just said.
That's what you said. I'm tired.
Email is info@mercierwellness.com.
Yes.
Or you can go to the Couples Council podcast, right? So we're giving y'all this as a prequel. The Couples Council podcast is our new URL for the podcast.
And it's amazing.
Yeah. So check that out. And don't forget to check out Creole Adventures, where you can see some of our antics on the road. In Canada. I hope we don't get arrested while we in Canada.
Why would you say that?
We just be going crazy sometimes. Yeah. But I hear people are nice in Canada.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll bump into some of our listeners.
Crazy, having fun, laughing out loud. That's nothing to get it. We just living our best lives.
That's what's up.
Don't put that energy out there.
I'm taking it back right now.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Right. Guys, thank you so much for listening. Thank you for coming back every week. Thank you for subscribing, for sharing. Thank you for spreading the Couples Council. It's only possible because of you guys. We thank you again. We appreciate you and we love you. And this is season 1 coming to a close. We hope to see you in season 2 for more. Okay. Bigger, better, more better.
Oh, better, Dan.
Here on the Couples Council. Take care now. Bye.
Bye.
Hey everybody! Thank you for listening to our mom and dad.
If you like them as much as we do, then click subscribe and leave a comment. But now they have to go because it's family time.
So go practice what you heard, and we'll catch you on the next episode.